Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Meekum, and this is my internship review of United Families International. So I wanted to start back with locating an internship. One of the best things that you can do is go to BYU's website where they have a map search and a list search on the same page where you can look up internships that have been previously approved and help you find and connect to organizations that might be looking for internships the upcoming semesters. Additional resources for you is if you check out Facebook, there are a variety of Facebook group pages from BYU students. The ones that I am part of is the Marriage and Family students and BYU online students. And I believe both of these have internship documents where they've got a long list of different organizations that you can potentially reach out to for internships as well. Another option that you can look into is just talk to your professors, see if they know local organizations that could be looking for interns. On the line of looking up local organizations, if you go to your county's website and search for family resources, typically they have a list there. It's not going to have a list of internships, but it will have a list of various organizations that are resources for families. And so this would be a great way to find local organizations that might need help and would really appreciate an internship. Or excuse me, an intern. For my own personal experience, I actually was able to find mine while I was at Wheatley Roundtable on the Family. I went last November, and during that, I started speaking with a couple of the professors there and just, kind of expressing struggles getting anyone to call me back or write me back. And two professors recommended a couple. Professor Rick was one who actually recommended United Families International. And so once I got home from the Wheatley Roundtable, then I looked them up and was able to get connected to Kristen. So I included on here the actual screenshot of the website where it says contact Kristen. You'll click on there, and it is Kristen Hackett. She's their internship coordinator. She's fantastic to work with. She's very kind, very professional. I loved getting to interact with her, even through the interview process and then throughout the semester. So what she'll do is she'll do the the interviews with you. And then if she does offer you an internship, then you're going to come back to your iPlan, go to internship approval, and then you're going to send in your request there and wait for approval. So a little bit about United Families International is you can look them up at unitedfamilies.org. They are a nonprofit, non-governmental organization, and they have 6 primary areas of focus for what they advocate for. And so those are family, marriage, life, human sexuality, parents, and religion. They also have, I guess you could say, like a little sister program, so to speak, that's called World Family News. And you can see across the page there's a bookmark bracket that says marriage and family, parents, pornography, religion, sanctity of life, sexuality. What they do is every single week, Monday through Friday, they post 11 new articles daily that correlate with these topics. And so you'll see news information around the world that involves these different categories. And the purpose of this is to create awareness of current news, but also to help promote good and discuss when there are negative actions being taken. And so they have I think this is kind of the motto for World Family News is together we can strengthen and defend families around the world. The next part of theirs that is the latest, I guess you could say, project for them is the Homefront project. This is a really cool concept that they're doing, and they're basically creating virtual or in-person book clubs, but it's for hot button topics. So you have like Feminism 101, you have the sexual revolution, we have gender identity and dysphoria, families, religious freedoms. There's a bunch of different topics that they go over. But what they do is they provide you with the information. So you don't have to go look this up. They have a bunch of secular objective information that goes over that. And what you'll do is with your group, you're going to do your studies first. So it'll say, select 2 articles from this list, watch one of these videos. If you want to dig deeper, here's some more information for you. And then once you come around to your meeting time, then you and the rest of your book club, so to speak, will meet together and get to discuss these topics and go over what thoughts you had on this. And so it's just a cool concept to help bring education in a respectful manner and help to have those discussions that are not typically easy to, especially in our current social dynamics where a lot of times trying to talk about these just turns into a fight. So it's a really cool concept for you, whether you're an intern with them or not. I think you should look up the Homefront project. But for the internship itself, there are 5 areas of responsibilities. I started with social media because that is the one that I covered for this semester. You can also work with them for working with the United Nations. There's a couple options there. So there's United Nation and then Universal Periodic Review, the Homefront project we talked about, and then writing. So this would be like writing blogs for the website and other news outlets. There's also a couple of shared responsibilities. So the first is the World Family News. When you're seeing those 11 articles each week on each day, Monday through Friday, that is found by the interns and I believe their supervisor. And so as an intern, you will be doing this once a week. You are going to go through the news from the last week, find 11 articles that correlate with those topics, and then get those scheduled and ready to go for the next day. There's also the Homefront meetings. Again, down here it says these are not required but recommended. This is recommended by UFI, but also by me. They were amazing to join, and I would really recommend giving yourself time in your schedule to join these Homefront project meetings. What they do is there's 2 a month, and the first one is a group leader training meeting, but what they do is they bring in a expert in the fields of that correlates to the topic that you're discussing for that month. And they go over questions that you might have. They do their own presentation and get you more aware of the topic itself and get you prepared for your meeting. And then the last Thursday of the month is when you're typically going to have the actual book club meeting, so to speak. And that's where you'll get to also participate with them and get to be a part of that learning experience and sharing also what you've learned from BYU as well. So as a social media intern, my primary responsibilities were creating content. So I had to do the research, create the content. The supervisor, Jessie, she's been fantastic about helping with your research as well. So you will likely hear from her a lot where she's sending you articles so that she can help you reduce the time that you're spending researching and you can focus more on your interactions and creating content for Instagram. So you are expected to do daily posting, that's Monday through Friday, and then also to their stories. You are meant to interact with your followers, other organizations, and if users are interacting on your content that aren't your followers, you should still be engaging with them as well. And then the last part is promoting United Families International with email signups, the blog, the World Family News, and Homefront Project. So over to the right, I included a few different examples of Instagram posts that I created that were promoting UFI. And the last two you can see are these for World Family News specifically. There's a couple different ways you can do this if you would like to. But what I would do is do a midweek update, and I would just select 3 to 4 articles from the week, do a real brief introduction, really just the title and a picture with it. And then that way you help to send them to World Family News, but also give them a peek into the content. You can also see the bottom right one, I put them together as just one post. So there's a couple different ways that you can do the promotion. And really the good thing about the social media aspect of this is you get a lot of creativity for how you are going to do this. So we also have, as part of that, I've included some more examples. One of the things that I asked to incorporate into their Instagram was hashtag Marriage Monday and hashtag Family Friday. And so I included both of those on here so you could just see an example of those posts. And then I chose one that covered religious freedom and then another that covers sanctity of life. So there's a few different examples here for you of what some of their posts look like. Also from our schoolwork, I took a lot of social media marketing courses, and so I was able to track a few different KPIs. If you've taken social media, you probably know what that means. If you haven't, it's key performance indicators. And so I was able to track and find that for the semester, we had a gross total gain of 43 new followers. Our average likes per post were about 8.5. And then I also found 11 additional resources for UFI's content database. So you can see that list over to the side. This was another way that I helped to benefit United Families International, was bringing more organizations that correlate with their 6 areas of focus to their database. And then I mentioned this just a second ago, but social media marketing was really a heavy part of my coursework connections. And so making sure that the posts were persuasive in storytelling, trying to maximize exposure, trying to gain more followers, trying to increase engagement itself. And then also for your marriage and family specific courses, advocacy is a huge part of this. So you're gonna, if you've taken child and family advocacy, this is gonna be a great connection for you. And one of the things that you'll kind of recognize from that is where in the course they talk about promote the light. UFI talks about don't become involved in mudslinging. So kind of in the same thread of each other, they connect really well in that regard. You're also going to do a lot of research. So if you've taken research methods or any of your psychology courses or even some of your marriage and family courses, you're going to find those skills that you're going to start relying heavily on. And from my family stress and coping course, I actually am taking it this semester as well, but there's a quote that I just loved that stood out and it really kind of resonated with United Families International is it's hope, oxygen for the spirit. And I loved that. It just really kind of ties in that advocacy is not tough, but the more you hang on to that hope, the better you can maintain your motivation to keep advocating for what you are personally driven and for United Families International, the 6 areas that they focus on. So for my personal development, as I was thinking about this, I didn't feel like there was really, quantifiable statistics that I could give you on the ways that I developed and changed, but I found 3 quotes that I felt really reflected that. And so the first one is to be an advocate is to have courage, independence, and passion for the things that matter. If you treat a mannequin like a patient, you will never treat a patient like a mannequin. And the last is when it comes to our missions, the impact of changes in public policy is rarely neutral. And that means that we cannot be neutral either. We must advocate. And I really connected to these 3, and you can see 2 of the 3 are about advocacy. When I started this internship, I was excited for social media. I knew that I was going to be discussing those hot button topics, but I did not realize to the extent that every part of this internship, you will be advocating for those areas. And so making sure that if you go back, really check, make sure that you align with their 6 areas of focus. I feel like you would, but it's also something to personally look over and make sure that you're ready to do that as well. But it does bring about that courage, the passion. One of the things that I've noticed most is that my passion for advocacy has changed. I was one to really hesitate to have these discussions, period, end of story, let alone be the kind of front runner of the social media side of it, where we know social media is not very nice. And so it was a rough change, but definitely a good change for me to go through that experience. And the last one, if you treat a mannequin like a patient, you will never treat a patient like a mannequin. I feel like, this is, I think, from my helping relationship class, but it also really relates to social media as well, because I feel like we have a tendency to do that online where we're not face to face. And so we tend to treat each other not like a real person that deserves respect, but, essentially like an object that needs to be controlled or squashed. And so I think, one of the things that really has just not changed in my heart, but really refined in my personal development has been that is, regardless of whether they are being nice to me or not, I can still be respectful to them and interact in a respectful manner. And so those are the 3 quotes that really kind of just resonated for me for this semester. And so the last question that we have is, would you recommend this organization? And I say absolutely yes, but I have a couple caveats, and they're not against the United Families International themselves. It's actually in preparation for yourself. So if you're interested in this organization, be prepared to play an active role in advocacy, regardless of which of the 5 areas you become responsible for. And just keep in mind, advocacy can be difficult. The news that you will be researching can be disheartening, but I do feel that it is absolutely worth being a part of this fight. So again, if you're interested in this internship, go over to their website, go to their intern section, and go get in touch with Kristen, and she can help you further from there. Thanks, everyone.